Mr. President.
Senator from Kentucky.
Let's be very clear here today. Republicans have come to the floor to reopen government. We've offered request after request to reopen the government. We've offered to negotiate. From the other side, we hear, we will not negotiate, we will not compromise, and we will not reopen the government. We have offered 13 different compromises today to reopen the government. We are willing to open the government, and then they say, oh, you must agree to everything or we will open nothing. We will not compromise, and we say to them, why don't we open the parts of government that we agreed to? Can we not end this farce of putting security guards in front of the World War II memorial? My goodness, it's an open park. They spent more money closing it than we spend keeping it open. We spend more money guarding the World War II monument than we do protecting our ambassador in Libya. It's become a farce. 85% of your government is open. We've offered today to open another 10%. Compromise means coming together and voting on some of the things you agree on. Every program that we've wanted to open today, the national parks, NIH, Veterans Affairs, allowing funerals, for goodness sakes, for our military heroes who have died in action. They say, oh, we agreed to it, but we won't agree to it. So let's be very clear. Republicans have offered today very specific proposals for opening government. The Democrats have uniformly rejected every appeal to open government. So when one of our wounded heroes can't have a funeral, when one of our people cannot be buried in Arlington Cemetery, when a World War II veteran goes to the monument and is barricaded and kept from viewing the monument to celebrate their service, be very clear that Republicans have asked to open the government and the Democrats have rejected opening at every point. In fact, they're very, very explicit with their strategy. We will not negotiate, they say. The president says he will not negotiate under pressure. My question is, when will he negotiate? We've had one good thing happen for the American taxpayer in the last 5 years. The bad thing is $7 trillion have been added to your tab, to your kids and your grandkids tab. One good thing happened, and it happened under duress, and it happened with regard to the debt ceiling. The sequester actually cut the rate of growth of spending. Didn't cut spending, but it's cutting the rate of growth of spending. The sequester happened under duress. The other side loves debt, loves spending, doesn't care how much your kids or grandkids will have. They don't care. They have rejected every compromise. What we are saying is $7 trillion of debt under President Obama is too much. The country is struggling. Economists say 1 million people are out of work because of the economy and because of the debt and because of the burden. And what do they want to do? Heap more debt on your kids and your grandkids. I say enough's enough. Let's reopen government. Republicans today have said, we will open government. Let's open the parts we can agree to. So I ask, Mr. President, unanimous consent that the Senate proceed to consideration of calendar number 207 for House Joint Resolution 70 to open the national parks, to make continuing appropriations for the year 2014, that the measure be read 3 times and passed, and the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table.
Is there objection?
Mr. President, reserving the right to object, it was my understanding that the senator from Kentucky was going to make a request relative to the Veterans Administration. The request relative to the national parks had been made earlier today. Is the request for the National Park Service?
Yes, and I can go on.
No,
I wanted it to be very clear that you are objecting to funding the national parks. So when people go to the national parks, they know they can call your office, okay? Because we want to open the national parks, and we want to make it very clear that your side is objecting to funding the national parks.
Reserving the right to object.
The senator from Illinois.
Reserving the right to object, I would like to clarify a few points relative to statements just made by the junior senator